You know, that particular song almost always has me at arrows.
But I know.
But there's something else I always...
But it should have all Nigerians.
Yes, indeed. And
because the lyrics, they're so powerful. So powerful.
I asked him a question when he was here on that day. I said, how did you get this song? And I couldn't even remember what he said, but what he talked about, how he got the song, brings me to this picture that was tweeted today, tweeted at us. And I'll read out the caption. It says, if the earth's crust was made of gold and its rivers flowed with oil, then man would have enough. But then he would die of thirst and hunger.
No water, no food.
No water, no food. And below that says, help protect the environment. We want to talk about the environment. Yesterday was the World Environment Day, and the UN came up with a caption, the theme of this year's celebration, 7 billion dreams, one planet, consume with care. What do you want to consume? How do you want to consume? Many of us have had to consume so much. We've just finished talking about Nigeria and the cabinet of the new government. And some people were there before they consumed. How did they consume? How sustainable is their consumption? That's what we're looking at today as we move forward. How sustainable is our consumption of the environment? When I say consuming here, I'm not talking about just eating. I'm talking about also, we have an evangelist here who will explain the consuming part of the environment.
So let me just... an evangelist?
Oh, sorry. He's an apostle. Yes. Okay.
He's I was just a farmer.
Come on. Anyway, you've already seen it. We have Desmond Madukodumi, an environmentalist, an apostle of the environment. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Also here with us is Dr. Paul Abolo, an environmentalist as well. Thank you for coming. Yeah. And Fadera Williams, also an environmentalist. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Gentlemen and lady, I'll begin with the lady. What exactly do you think led to this caption for this year? 7 billion dreams, one planet, consume with care.
Actually, I believe that we have, when we were in there, we were talking, and he said something, which was what Ban Ki-moon said. The fact that the environmental issues now has reached a critical point. And, I never saw it from that angle, but what he said made a lot of sense to me, because medically, when someone is said to be critical, that's something that gives a cause for concern.
Between life and death.
And, it's important because we keep consuming natural resources. Life is all about the resources we have. It's all about what we're able to, take out of nature. But we have to have that mentality of sustainability. And sustainability, it's been flogged, in our parlance, we say, oh, it's just a paradigm. It means the same thing as this and means the same thing as that. But the truth is, we actually need to consider the fact that some of the resources we're taking out are renewable, some are not. And if we, keep on taking out these resources, there's going to come to a time the non-renewable resources will become finished, and then we don't have them any longer. And so there's no consideration for the future generations, the unborn generations who do not have any fault. They have no fault in the fact that they don't have what they need to live on. And so I think that was probably what informed this, because he says 7 billion people, one planet, consume with care, because it's talking about the generality of human population, and it's talking about the fact that each person has a role to play. Each member of this 7 billion population has a role
on this
to play.
one planet.
So
if we don't treat the planet with care, it will not be able to sustain us.
Yes, absolutely. And talking about great lyrics, I love that Dakolo song. We'll defend our land. It's a new national anthem.
It's inspiring.
It's very inspiring. But the great man himself, Mahatma Gandhi, said very, very clearly. He said that the earth can supply man's needs, but it cannot cater for man's greed. And herein lies the problem. And Alero, alluded to the fact that, the earth gives us what we need. She's akin to, the ultimate mother, earth. She gives us everything that we need for our survival, the air, the water, the food, and so on. And you know, how are we treating her in turn? It's almost like, you know, if a mother is there and she has a ravenously hungry child and she's spoon feeding him and she's feeding the child, and the child, I want more, and then because mother is not giving enough, the child picks up a fork, and he hits the mother in the arm. But this lovely, benevolent mother still continues to feed the child, admonishes the child, please, you shouldn't do that. You're hurting mother. And the child, I want more, keep feeding me. And the benevolent mother is continuing to feeding the child like this. The child is beginning to get obese and he still wants more. Then he picks up a knife and then he stabs mama in the arm. You know, and this time he draws a bit of blood, because by this time now the technological revolution has entered the equation. It's not as if we were just using manual labor to exploit the resources of planet Earth. We're now using machinery and technology, and we're over-exploiting. And so mama says, look, child, you're hurting me, and you're not the only child I have. And you're now, threatening my ability to be able to feed the rest of my 7 billion children and several 100 million other living species. It's not just man that Mother Earth is feeding. And so she admonishes the child and gives him a bit of a slap. Although, mind you, if he's in his aleko and you go and by the time the child choke mama with the fork, the knuckle is already coming down heavy. And this is what, so the Earth is reacting. Is reacting now, and and the reaction is still quite benign in terms of what she is capable of doing. Believe you me, a hurricane, a number 5 strategy hurricane, the Earth can do far more than that, and that's what happened to the Philippines. It was a hurricane 5 level, and within sort of 2 hours, 10,000 people were wiped out. A hurricane 5 level wind can bring up tsunami waves of about 30 meters, okay? But nature is capable of bringing, strategy 10. Yes, and that can bring up massive tsunamis. God forbid that we shall provoke nature to this level, that she starts to react in this kind of way, especially in a place like Lagos. God forbid, can I hear?
The apostles.
I mean, this has got one thinking, and I'm just thinking, is it our actions that have caused the many natural disasters that we're witnessing this century? Earthquakes here, hurricanes there, and there seems to be no end to this. Is it our behavior that is causing all this?
Yes, to a very large extent. Going back to what you said about the 7 billion, referring to 7 billion people, one planet, consumed with care. But there's a slogan under it that says sustainable consumption and production. Now, we akin the relationship between man and the environment as a relationship where one party, the environment, is crying out. Those reactions you see from the environment are voices crying out, telling us that in this relationship there is something that we are not doing right, that we are hurting the relationship. The environment is crying out in several voices: climate warming, flood,